Good morning, everybody from sunny paradise, and shout out to everybody watching this so early in the day because I know I'm usually doing the live stream either at lunchtime on new moon days or on Sabbaths at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. YouTube shut me down the other day, guys. So the last stream that I shared, if you went to watch that, it is actually removed off YouTube. And that's why I'm also doing the live stream this week late, is because that I just now got off my community guideline strike. So if you want to watch stream 31, which I talked about Marburg, you need to go over to Odyssey and watch that. And the link is in the video description below. Shout out to everybody from sunny paradise. Thought I would do this out here this morning. While it's quiet, and I got to be honest with you, I have been outside for quite a while this morning. I have not seen or heard the first human being. I don't know if the NPCs haven't loaded in the Matrix yet. I don't know what's going on this morning, but it's super quiet and peaceful. So before I get going on this, I know that this is going to be like a touchy subject for some people. And I don't care if it's offensive because it's going to be like factual statement, because we live in a culture where it's cancel culture, woke culture versus true woke and the facts. And you'll see as I go into that. All right. But before we get going, guys, I just want to say the usual disclaimer, and the fair use. Okay, so things that I'm sharing today don't necessarily reflect the views of this channel, the content, and etc. Furthermore, fair use, anything that I've shown in this, it's fair use under the fair use law, and you can see that information in the front of the video. I'm not going to drag the disclaimer of the fair use out like I usually do today. We will do shout outs for channel affiliates later in the video. Okay, so with that said, I just want to get started right into this today, because after YouTube pulled the plug on that video I had the other day, it really made me think that this is a topic that I have not covered like on the Hard Truth Show yet. And shalom to everybody coming in the building. Love everybody. All right. So for those watching the playback, keep in mind that one of the things that motivated me to share this today is the very fact that I showed people information the other day, and within 6 hours that content was pulled because they said medical disinformation. But I literally said in that this is a scenario that could happen. It doesn't necessarily say that this is happening. So we can't even talk really in parables on some of this stuff anymore. And so I had a bunch of memes that I wanted to share throughout this presentation today too. And I think this is a really good one, as we live in a time where intelligent people are being silenced so the stupid people won't be offended. And we literally are in that time and place right now where that to not offend the masses and also to keep them dumbed down, you are not allowed to speak knowledgeable wisdom to people, because that would be too much. All right, moving on. I think that Dr. Seuss's quote about life is just so on point, is that sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple. And it really is, guys. I mean, people ask, like, what in the world's going on right now? Well, the world is ran by a bunch of satanic, wicked people. And we're living in the last days, and we're watching this whole thing crumble before us. And so the question is complicated, but the answer is extremely simple. All right. Another thing, guys, one is so early as I'm hoping I beat the air conditioning unit turning on the balcony today. And this is another one I love, is if you haven't ever read the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, or whatever, this one, Oh, the Things You'll Need to Unlearn to Be Halfway Decent Person. And I feel like I need to unlearn so much more every day. So I recently talked about, in that one video about relationships and etc., about the matrix and about this construct. I call it the matrix at times on here, but this construct that we all are living in. And people get so mad at each other, politically, religiously, socially, just on all these different levels. But we have to understand that it's a construct that we're all having to operate within, and that's what's going on. Okay. And guys, if you want to reach out to me, I know people's been doing it here lately. I've been trying to catch up on the emails from the past months. I've got it like completely caught up now. But if you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at 7trumpsprepper@gmail.com. You can also reach me at the PayPal donation link below. If you donate just as much as $1 and just put your message in there, I'll get it a lot quicker than my regular emails. Just FYI on that. And it also helps the ministry and the channel. Guys, make sure to hit the like button, share this content, subscribe, and please hit the notification bell because YouTube is not been too friendly here lately anymore. Okay. Just putting that out there for what it's worth. All right. Now, what we have here is I've explained multiple videos, and I think it's time to really break that definition down in this one for the baseline of how far we're going into this. A construct says to put together the constituent parts of something in their proper place in order to build, to form, to make, as to construct an edifice. And I thought also interesting, if you don't know what edifice is, we'll get into that one in just a second. But the definition of a construct, okay, this was like from a design perspective, right? It says a construct is a general term we like to use to refer to the different tools in our software development toolbox that we use to build applications, right? It says some of these can be referred to as patterns, but loosely I call everything a construct. A construct is a pattern in which we live, right? It is a formed reality around us and trying to drive us into being that, right? Now, also interesting to me is if you look at just particular definition of construct, edifice, a structure that is a roof and walls and stands more or less permanently in one place. I thought it was interesting that if you look at, we are the temple of the Most High, right? We worship the Most High, and everything's trying to infect our mind, our edifice, our building that we live in this construct that we are forced to dwell in right now. And I just thought it's so interesting, especially sitting out here and just watching the seashore and the sunrise this morning, is that it's like I have to protect everything about my mind, especially anymore because the news is after you, the politicians are after you, corporations is after you, fallen religious systems are after you. And shalom to everybody. Good morning. Love everybody coming in the building. But, especially to people watching the playback on this later down the road, you got to understand that, like, it is a real reality that we live in, but there's a construct that's been built around you from the time that you were a child and entered into the educational school indoctrination system. All right. Moving forward, I thought this was interesting. It made it on CNN News. It says poll, 15% believe U.S. government run by Satan worshiping pedophiles. It is getting the true woke, because I'm going to talk about like woke culture, cancel culture, and then true woke and facts intertwined at the same time, is that, it's so interesting to me that even if that poll said 1% of the masses was awoken, I want to make sure everybody's seeing my eyes when I say this, 1%, that still to me is a win, because during the revolution, 3% was all that stood against the crown. And it says right here in this poll, 15% people believe this. Imagine as things continue to crumble before our very eyes, how many more people are going to start to see the reality in which they are. But now the problem is, by the time most of these people wake up, they're not going to be able to escape that. All right. So especially when we get into the I Am Legend situation that's coming before us in the very near future. And like, if you hadn't seen that video that YouTube took down, I'm also got a thumbnail for it coming up here further in the video that you can go over and check it out. But like I talked about that the other day, and then I think like 6 hours later it got pulled. I think that's the second fastest one that YouTube's ever pulled. I think the number one was when I was actually still doing the live stream. I think it was a year or two ago. I was still doing the live stream, and they literally pulled it as I was doing the live stream, and I had to start another live stream. So I think that's first place. And the other day, the other video I done, that was second place on how quickly they got that off there. So anyway, moving forward. So this construct in which we're in, you can see that most of the stuff that's being force fed to everybody, and actually Disney needs to be on this list as well, but this is a bulk of them right here, is that these are the people that are moving people's minds and controlling a lot of the masses without the government needing to do anything. You have Facebook, you have Google, you have Netflix, TikTok, a lot of these entities, the content that's produced by them, housed by them, movements that's moved by them. These are the ones that are driving a lot of the mentality of people. And then you add politicians and news and religion to it, and it's a real dumpster fire. Sorry guys, my sinus is a little jacked up this morning. But if you understand at the end of the day the construct in which we're dwelling in, and you understand the players in it, it's a lot easier to navigate across the chessboard. And these people are the ones definitely that major driving force. I would say that the corporation of America, the United States, is being driven by a lot of these smaller corporations nowadays and their agendas. And I'm going to show you just exactly how that's working out for some people. Now, another example of this too is that you have to understand that when we talk about the elite and we talk about, certain individuals and the really top hierarchy, you look at right here, Elon Musk bought Twitter the other day, and these things are starting to be consolidated down under certain individuals, and these people are very wealthy and already in positions of power. All right. And you look right here, and some of the richest men in the world, and I think I mentioned this before on here, but some of the richest people in the world, okay, are tech giants. And 2025 rolls around, and AI is fully autonomous, and you have power accumulated into a small group of people's hands. It is exceedingly scary, that reality. All right. Now, the playbooks never change, though. All right. First, they weaponize fear against an invisible threat. Then they tell you that they are the only ones who have the special ability, all right, to fix this problem, right? And this just always keeps going. The same narrative keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. And guys, they're going to repeat this again. One reason my content got pulled the other day was because of medical misinformation. That was the reason. Y'all know I don't curse on here. I don't do anything disrespectful, adult content, anything like that. And so that's why that content got pulled the other day, so-called, because of medical misinformation, right? What blows my mind is the time frame that we're living in right now. If you look at just simple things that used to be laughed at back in the day, like the chemtrail thing, literally was with my daughter and my wife and at the zoo. I think it was last week. And I took this photo, and it just so happened a friend of mine took the photo in Knoxville from the other side. So like you're seeing mine from the west viewing back toward the east, and I think they took it on the east viewing toward the west. So there was multiple witnesses at the same event. There was 3 planes in a row spraying at the same time. Okay, and what's really wild is, people used to say, well, it's just the planes after spray from the jet thrusters or whatever. But you would literally see a chemtrail plane spraying, and then a normal plane flying, and there was like no contrail, right? And I'm just like, how dumb do you have to be? And now we're to the point where that this is out there in the open about the chemtrail spray, that they don't even care anymore. That there was so many planes spraying in that one day. I literally could not tell you the number of how many was in the sky. So like that's what I'm saying. Like with time, we're in this construct. We're at a point in time now where like so much is going on, they don't even care anymore, right? So right here, another meme. I've got a bunch of memes throughout this today, guys, and I mean it's sad because like I have to try to raise my daughter up because my son's an adult now, so I'm still trying to raise my daughter up in a world where to give her some kind of normalcy, but at the same time help her stay aware of what we're dealing with. And I hate it because like I know so many of us out here are parents, and we have children, and we love them and want to give them the very best quality of life, and this is the garbage that we have to deal with every day, and also have to try to help their little minds understand what they're dealing with. One day, many will hang their heads in shame when they realize the evil they defended and the heroes they ridiculed. And we are definitely in that time where that I think a lot of people are going along to get along. And later down the road, and knowing, cognitive dissonance kicking in, they know that it's wrong, and their mentality is not in agreement with it, but they go along to get along. And later down the road, they're going to deeply regret that. I really do believe that as well. Now, I'm not going to read this one because it's really long. Just pause this and check this out whenever you get a chance. And shalom to everybody coming to the building. Love everybody. Sorry I missed you the other day. Like I said, YouTube had me under strike mode, so this is pretty much as soon as I could get back on here with everybody. But check that meme out right there whenever you get the chance, guys. All right, so I'm going to start going through a bunch of examples here. So like YouTube, recently, for those that are not in the know, especially people that produce content on here, you really need to start being in the know, is that I'm going to screen share for just a second here. And I'm going to show you an article that was some time back, but not too far back. Let me take that off the stream for a minute and let me make sure that we are screen sharing here. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure. Okay. And so The Verge, this was from 2019. I think this was also right after there was the terms of service before this one was the one that was about extreme content, flat earth, I think was directly mentioned in it, and etc. Well, this particular one on YouTube says that has no obligation to host anyone's videos. And that was from November 11, 2019. And you can check it all out on theverge.com. It's YouTube terms of service update terminations. And that was also when it was really crazy. It was there was this channel. I remember, I can't remember the name exactly, but I think they removed them. And my son, when he was little, right, we would literally watch Lego videos and stuff on that and little build videos, and they removed that guy's content, and it was just Lego videos. I mean, it's just I'm like, wow, we are really hit a new crazy in cancel culture. And I was thinking, I think I was thinking that back then, and look at now. And so you see with YouTube is a glaring example of how that it started out. Pretty much anything went. And now it's to a point where pretty much anything goes as long as you go along to get along. Let me give you an example. I wondered why that I was getting certain suggestions on my YouTube scroll feed. There'd be some girl twerking on it, right? And I'm like, why is this my number one suggested thing on these YouTube shorts? Because I haven't made any YouTube shorts yet. And apparently because of who I am, my age demographic, stuff like this, they market to male men. And I guess they have these metrics and the algorithms and all that stuff that breaks this down. Well, also on the other side of that coin, though, you look at it and they have where that if you're speaking about certain things, that algorithm flags that, so that some purple-haired social justice warrior on YouTube can go and cancel you out, just like they did me the other day, even though I talked in parables, even though I made sure to type zeros instead of O's and money symbols instead of S, all this stuff to beat algorithms. They're getting really sharp on this stuff, right? And in the construct we're in, something like that right there, if you didn't see that, you can go check that out over in Odyssey, because they took it out over here. Whenever you talk about something like that, and I'm gonna get off that slide quick, guys, before they pull this one for even mentioning it. When you end up doing stuff like that, the back end of that is you're gone. And that's why when people get on to me about crypto and blockchain, I understand, and I want to go ahead and go on the record once again. I want to look at everybody. I just want to say this, is that and sorry guys, the sun's coming up, so I just won't wear sunglasses this morning, but I do understand that everything will eventually be corrupted before Messiah returns. I really believe that. Okay. Now I hope that don't happen. I hope we can run a parallel society like me and Brother Joel and the King talked about, when I was out in California recently. But provided that situation cannot happen, right? I do understand for right now that the best thing many of us can do is use blockchain technology. Just like if you haven't checked out my content over on Odyssey, see, I don't have to have these conversations over there, which this will be over there and you can view it. Stream number 32 now, but you don't have to worry about this over there because it's still a free speech zone, right? And we got to understand that we've got to start moving away from the corporations and the construct and the news and the media and the government and these wicked fallen religious entities. We've got to get away from that and get over to other things and other venues of free speech. And Odyssey is where I would prefer to finally land my feed eventually. And if you're not a subscriber over on Odyssey, I really wish you guys would go over there. There's like almost 80,000 of you guys on my YouTube channel now. And I wish that you would please just take a moment of time, if you love this content, and go down in the description box and just click the Odyssey link and subscribe over there, so that if they do decide to delete me, you can see it over there. Guys, I'm sorry if the noise in the background, that's that air conditioning unit running. I was hoping I could beat it. And here's another example, is that, like you can see, there is a massive library in Minecraft that's filled with uncensored articles, journals, information from all over the world. And it was created by a company called Blackworks. And because Minecraft is accessible worldwide, the library offers a unique opportunity to people in censored countries to view censored material in a safe environment. Okay. And here's another meme I've got. Like I said, guys, I got a bunch in here today. Is that it says maybe I'm an NPC. It says no, repeating every media talking point verbatim is what real people do, and no, it's not. It's what indoctrinated people do. All right. Truth does not mind being questioned. A lie does not like being challenged, and that is definitely the reality we are living in and dealing with right now. Now, I tell you what, guys, give me just 1 second. I'm going to see if I can cut that off. If not, we'll keep working through this. Just bear with me. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I didn't want to wake my little one up and my wife, but I did get it to turn off. Okay, so another great platform to post on is Band2. Haven't heard of that one, guys. BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey. These are platforms definitely encourage you to check out. I love Odyssey, though. All right. Hey, shalom. We got people all over the world listening. Folks in UK today. Hey, love everybody. Morning to everyone coming on, and to those watching the stream after the fact. So right now, the month that we're in, which is also the month I was born in, this timetable, Roman calendar wise, for everybody watching knows that I keep the scriptural lunisolar scriptural biblical calendar for those interested right here. Can check this out right here. Give me just a second, guys. I'll put the picture up so you can see it right here. And this is a app that is free. You can check it out on the App Store. worldslastchance.com has scriptural biblical app where you can download it for Android or Apple devices. Okay. And highly encourage you to get this app, because that if you follow our stream, you know that we do this on preparation day before Sabbath and new moon days at noon. This has been a little jumbled up here lately because of everything that's going on, and cancel culture going on with my channel. Real quickly, I am going to send a shout out to some of our affiliates and then continue the presentation. Guys, if you haven't checked out Mirror Safety, I encourage you to check them out. The equipment purchased from them helps also help support the channel, and I appreciate that very much. And also helps protect your family, biological, nuclear, chemical. They've got everything you could just about think of as far as personal safety goes for these type of things, even all the way down to protective units for little babies and infants. All right, now next up also is Faraday Defense, EMT specialist. I've got some gear that I'm going to be actually reviewing while I'm down here, y'all willing, if it all sorts out. They have a various different plethora of equipment that you can use, all the way down to just small bags to put your cell phones in, your ledger, and stuff like that for crypto. Like I said, just various different things. All right, now, guys, if you haven't checked out Battle Box, you know I do a monthly Battle Box review. I don't have my little box to show you. I have that little tiny Battle Box to show now as a shout out. But if you haven't checked them out, the link's in the video description below. You get 15% off your first box. So definitely check that out. Those guys are awesome. The gear, it's just crazy. The gear various gear that I've got out of the boxes over the years. And lastly, if you haven't checked out Kingdom Minded Company, that's my wife's scriptural tea shirt company. You can check it out right there in the video description below. Guys, I appreciate everybody that's been buying from her She's continuing to add more and more new designs and inventory to that. So make sure and check that out. And lastly, guys, I will be speaking at the United in Yah event, the Battle Cry event that's coming up. I will be speaking on the 26th now. And next stream, I'll know the exact time. I think I can give you the exact time for the next stream. But I'll be speaking about the 7 trumpets of Revelation and being prepared for the last days. And the last shout out is to make sure, if you're in the Georgia area near the Georgia Guidestones, to stop by the Georgia Guidestones at 12 p.m. on 7/31/22. We will be doing a prayer meetup for the fall of the New World Order there. So make sure to check that out. All right. And let me see real quickly what somebody said in the comments here. And, okay. Yeah. Man, there's people pouring in the building from all over the place this morning. I'm actually shocked that people's in the building this early in the morning. So shout out to everybody, because most people's either at work or still asleep. So right now, as I was saying before, done shout out for the affiliates and stuff, is that if you look at the particular month we're in right now, which is also the month, like I said, time of year I was born, is that this seems to be Pride Month, right? And, scripture says pride come before the fall. I think I have that in here coming up, the scripture in just a second. But, like one of these things that I speak to is that now I got to be careful how I conduct this, because I don't want another community strike. And this is not a hate speech thing. What people need to understand is that, and I hope people that are of this way wake up to this later down the road too, is that this is an indoctrination thing. And it is part of the construct to keep the nuclear family from producing living beings, because the New World Order doesn't want families reproducing. So they're all about this agenda. I mean, do you see like heterosexual marriage being promoted on TV anymore, or for that matter, do you even see polygynous marriage being promoted on there, which would produce multiple seed, multiple legacy? No, you don't see that. However, you do see this agenda being played out. And once again, like I said, I got to be really careful how I speak to that, because cancel culture might cancel this. And right here, Proverbs 16:16, how much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather than chosen that silver? The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better is it to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. I think I have one more slide on there, guys. Yahweh had made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. I thought that was really profound. Like, that is a hard-hitting verse right there. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahuwah. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of Yahuwah, men depart from evil. When a man's way please Yahuwah, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. And I thought, wow, that was some really good scripture for the context of what we are talking about today. Another thing that I've seen, I've got multiple examples. I'm just kind of tethering up to where we're at today. Another one I've seen in recent years was the so-called black man, because a lot of people are so-called black are actually Hebrew Israelites. They just don't know that. And you need to go watch the True Hebrew Israelite video I made. It's about to roll 1 million videos. Just type in True Hebrew 7 Trumpets Prepper on YouTube. It should pull up. Is you can see that the Black Lives Matter thing was exploited by the media, the government. It was exploited by the people that actually started the movement, which apparently ended up being homosexual at the very top of it. And that was actually the agenda they were pushing ultimately. And it was for money too, I guess. And if you look at it, like at the time I actually researched it, the last time I looked at this, they had never even poured any money back into the black community. Or so-called black community. And I thought, wow, I was like, this right here is what people need to understand, is that at the core of cancel culture, it always comes down to the people at the top making money. It always comes down to an agenda being moved at the cost of multitudes. And there's always a reason, the destruction of people. And that's exactly what happened at the baseline when you've seen this going on. And it always comes down to breaking down people or breaking down the family. Another thing that's happening right now, today, is now it's the Second Amendment that is the current thing that everybody's going after, right? And if you didn't see it, the shooting that took place in Buffalo, that guy actually is the second guy now, I think, that's made the news. It actually has made a hydrogen, water-powered car. And he was the one of the people that got killed in Buffalo. And I thought, that's awful interesting, because the last guy that made a water car ended up dead as well. And you're seeing, but it's the bigger picture right now. Let me focus on this, because there's multiple shooting thing going on. If you look at the bigger picture right now, you remove people's ability to defend themselves, and then the next thing you have is you can do whatever you want with them. And it says, like right here in this meme, I can't believe it's gun control season already. I still have I won't read the rest of that, or probably get algorithm flag this. And right here's another one, because I know a lot of us are waiting for that one right there to happen next too. It says, all I'm asking for is the right to the same weapons that I paid for the Taliban to own. And, it's crazy. Like, there's literally terrorists across the world that are ability to defend themselves, but people like, the normal average American can't even defend themselves, which is crazy. Moving forward, it says individual rights are not subject to a public vote. A majority has no right to vote away the rights of a minority, right? And so, the thing that we're approaching right now is, you've seen all these constructs and agendas and stuff trying to be pushed upon people. And the problem with that is that it doesn't matter if 90% of the public said, hey, we don't want the Second Amendment anymore. That is a right. That is a constitutional right. Okay. So anyway, moving on. So I want to show you how that corporations have turned themselves into a dumpster fire by doing the things, this whole cancel culture and woke culture thing. If you haven't seen, especially right here in the state of Florida right now, and you look at what happened with Disney here in Florida, and I'm guys, you're just going to have to read some of the memes. I'm not going to say the stuff that's in some of these pictures, because I don't want the content flagged. But if you look at what Disney's done and what happened in the news and everything, and then you look at the result of that woke, right, being woke, and this whole woke movement thing, because we talked about cancel culture. Now I want to kind of go in on the whole go woke, go broke thing. Is if you look at their share revenues, I mean, it's went down 31%. 31%. That is savage. Okay. Now here's another one, and this is what happens when you go after children too. Even wicked people can't stand it when you go after their children. All right, here I got the Star Wars logo. I thought this one was a good one for the new Obi-Wan show. Another thing, you can see the woke all over that. Kathleen Kennedy's a real dumpster fire right there too. And it says right, and here's another great meme. It says, sorry, Arthur, your answer was actually correct, but Paul shouted his opinion louder. So he gets the point, and that's kind of like the Nazis said, you shout a lie long enough, loud enough, it becomes a reality for people. And in an extra bonus point also goes to Sue, as she was offended by your answer. And so that's exactly the culture we're living in right now. Another interesting one to me is anybody that's invested in Netflix. It confounds my mind. I wouldn't dump 1 cent into Netflix, because they have repeatedly offended and done stupidity to the masses. Here's some ones that I could think of recent that were just so stupid, is the He's Expecting and the Cuties. I'm gonna tell you what, people literally lost their mind over the Cuties. And I just want to also apologize to my audience for even putting the banner up of the girls being exploited, but I need you to understand that this is what they're feeding the public and the masses, and their stock. Now, I don't remember exactly where their stock was at following the first initial posting of that, but Netflix's stocks went absolutely upside down, just dumpster fire. And once again, that's what happens when you go to the woke movement. And it, shout out to y'all. Hey, shalom to everybody. Man, there's a lot of folks come in. I appreciate you. And you look at this at the end of the day, this is all going to end up in a lake of fire one day. Okay. And a lot of the people that supported this, I want you to understand, folks, the go along, get along thing is there's going to be a lot of good people burn in the lake of fire one day. Okay. There are going to be bad people, but there's definitely going to be good people too. And I think people really need to soak that in and understand that and let that come to a reality in your mind, because it is a clear and present danger if we don't get away from these sinful things. And we don't need to support this stuff, especially corporations, religious entities, etc. That support this. And it says, Ecclesiastes says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of a man. For Elohim shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. All right. So that's why we should repent of everything we've done privately and publicly. All right. And let me take this down, because that should be the end of the slide. And guys, I'm not going to be too long-winded as I usually am, because everybody's up and awake now and making a ton of noise out here. But what I would say to it is, if you look at just in the past 3 years, okay, the terms of service changes with companies, the stock revenues after the stupid decisions that they've made, and lastly, the certain things that are banned to talk about, okay, because like I'll give you an example. The blanket statement anymore is, if you so much talk about, hey, I'm concerned about this being this and this doing this to my body, etc., then the next thing you know, YouTube will like block you and say, well, that's medical misinformation. Even expressing a thought, not saying this is factual reality. I think you could blanket it and say, I'm not a doctor, blah 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 blah, and you still express your thought and then be banned or have a community guidelines strike and content removed. Like, does that not send up red flags? Like, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, does that not send up red flags? The fact that constitutional rights, okay, let me say that again for those in the back. Constitutional rights, the very right to do something, is up in arms to be trying to be stripped away from people, is astonishing to me. Like, we're living in a time where anything goes, and this is called cancel culture, okay, and woke culture. This is a combination of that effect, and it's only going to get worse from here. And I noticed, I guess, that the last caveat that I would say to this is that from the time that Rona started to now, there has been this building momentum to certain agendas that have been dormant or not been promoted for a long time. That this resurgent is it's being resurged back up. And now currently we're seeing the 2A thing. And it's almost like every summer anymore during the years, and now with the exception of when Ronald was going on, like all agendas were put on pause. But it's like now that that's passed, it's like everything's being ramped back up. We have the Pride movement. I'm looking for riots in the street next. And then, we've got the summer of gun violence thing going on. And it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And it's just like they hit replay on this stuff at least. But it's like ever since the lockdowns and stuff, now it's like it's ramped up even faster and harder, right? So guys, I just want you to be mindful that as we move forward in the years ahead, you can only expect things to get so much worse with everything that's going on. This is only the icing, or I'm sorry, this is only the beginning. This is not the icing on the cake to come. And the biggest thing that my advice to everyone before I dip out of here and go spend the day with my family and enjoy my vacation is that I think the most important thing that we need to be doing right now is, for us that are adults, is to be mindful of what we see is going on before our very eyes, and especially filtered through the lens of Scripture. I think the second thing that we need to do is warn our children every day and be careful of who's molding their mind, because like you send them to public school indoctrination camp, they're getting 8 to 10 hours a day of lies and garbage, whereas you might have 15 minutes with them after your job each day to tell them what's right and wrong and try to filter that information out. So it just need to be mindful of the future, because it's getting sketchy out here, guys. But guys, my laptop is already almost on fire, it feels like. I don't know if you can see, but I'm going over that hill over there just shortly. Y'all will, and I'm going to enjoy some beach time. But as always, guys, till we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prepper channel and here on YouTube, I hope the Most High y'all Baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua name. If the outro comes.